All right, you guys, happy Sunday, everyone. I've been trying to get this camera fixed right to where I can, and so far it's not working. It's not my normal camera. Hey, Michelle. Glad you could join. I'm just gonna have to do it like this. So, hey, Jessica. If you jump on, say hi. Hi, Donna. I can see all my comments from this angle, so I'm just gonna have to wing it from here because I brought my extra light phone thing, and it's not long enough. It's not what I'm used to. So, and I'll tell you now, Diane may get a wild hair in her and come in here and introduce me. She could, so just be warned. She might come in here, but it's just one of those nice, beautiful days out here. We are rocking sweats. If you've ever been to a retreat, you know that usually in the middle, everybody just gets comfortable with one another, and we've got sweats, the t-shirts. I just barely pulled my hair back this morning, and you walk around in house shoes. So it is super comfy out here, and I wanted to be able to finally do the monthly online ordering special, the cards. And so I'm gonna do 3 of them, and then I'm gonna show you the 4th one. But if you're not familiar with the monthly online ordering special, when you order $25 or more from my website, you're gonna get a free cut kit that from the cards that I'm making today. So these are gonna be the 4 samples, and thank you guys for joining me this Sunday afternoon. If you've never watched my videos before, this is not normal. I'm just at a retreat this weekend, so I wanted to do something earlier because tomorrow I'll be packing and probably driving back during my normal Facebook Live time. So, but my name is Barbara Ragsdale, and I am a demonstrator with Stampin' Up in the San Antonio, Texas area. So I'm glad you joined me, and I'll just go ahead and get started. The angle is going to be just a little bit different this time, just because it's taken a few moments to try to get it set up. Hi, Bonnie. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to flip the camera, and then I'm going to try to get it where you can see. There's my name, my website. Sorry, it's probably going to move a little bit, but that's going to be probably the best angle, and then I can move it if I need to. And then I can still see my comments as well, so I'll try to keep it right there. But there's my website. There's the host code for October. And then if you don't want to type any of that in, you can actually just scan that QR code, and it'll take you straight there and automatically plug in the host code. So I'm going to see if I can get it up a little bit higher without interfering with that code. And then let's go ahead and get started. I have them on this, that way they can look at the cards, but I know that's kind of close. But this is going to be card number 1. And I've already done everything, so I'm just assembling. There was not, I'm in the kitchen right now, and there was not a whole lot of space to set things up so that you would be able to see it. So what we're working with is some Night and Navy and some Whisper White. And then the monthly online ordering special uses the designer series paper in Good Taste, which happens to be on sale. And we're going to use this particular design in this card. So I've got my seal, and let's go ahead and get, I hope that's not an awkward, I should have brought some tape in here because my little area is moving. Oh goodness. My seal just completely did this number on me. Wasn't expecting that. Let me see if I can reel it back in. And if it's going to continue to do that, I may have to go get my glue. I didn't realize this is actually a new one too, so I'm not really sure what is going on with this. So I'm going to have to use glue, and I will be right back. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm back. Whew. So let's do that. Let's just use some glue so we can get this moving. And I hope you guys can see from that angle. I can see, but I don't know how awkward it is on your end. So we have that piece. And then this piece of Whisper White cardstock, I embossed with that 10 tile embossing folder that we have. And so we're going to put that down next. I almost want to get rid of this little mat sheet behind me because it's just moving things around right now. So we're going to get that down. So I can move up. You can see it fine. Good. This little sheet right here is moving around too much for me, and I didn't have tape to keep it down. So, and then we're going to mat this piece of Designer Series paper onto this Night of Navy cardstock. But before we put that down, we're actually going to wrap some twine around it after we stamp our little sentiment there. Yeah, I'm moving around way too much here. That's driving me nuts. Hold on. Let's do this. I'm going to get rid of that because it's not. And then I'll show the website thing later. But I chose this surface because it's a really nice surface. And we're going to stamp, well, of course I didn't bring that stamp, so that's going to have to be an afterthought. We're going to have to put that on afterwards, but before we put this down, we're going to, I mounted the other stamps, I just didn't do that one. We're going to put some, little bit of glue on the back here. Oops. You can't even see what I'm doing. There we go. So I'm glad I'm only doing 3. I might just do 2 and show you the other 2 because I didn't want the video to be so long. And I'm going to end up putting a double piece of twine around the side and pull it around the other side so it gets onto that glue. I think I need to keep moving up forward because that's kind of hard to see. And then I'm going to make a double bow with the twine. Get that on there. And all you do is you double up on your twine and then make your bow. Oops. Make your bow, if I can get that bow in there. And then pull your twine to your, what did I do wrong? I'm not even sure what I did wrong. I'm looking for the other end of the twine. Oh, goodness. Goodness. Something does not look right about this bow. All right, you guys. Oh, that's because I didn't clip the other end. Hold on, you guys. Didn't realize the thing was so far from the table. It seems like it's so far when you step away. So let's try this again. Double bow with some linen thread here. There we go. Oh, and before we put this on there, now that that's on there, I'm going to put some dimensionals on each of the corners. Move that up a little bit. I'm glad I actually remembered to bring this, but it is, this is perfect for a backup. But if you're trying to do a full Facebook Live, it's a little on the short end. So we'll just get that centered. And then I'm not going to stamp the sentiment because I forgot to stamp the little sentiment on, but it's going to say you're the best. But I am going to go ahead and put the twine on with a couple of glue dots. I'm going to stick it off to the side right here. And then we're going to get a, y'all can't see this, but Diane's acting silly on the other side of the room. Let's get one of these epoxy droplets on that side right there. So once everything is stamped, that's card number 1. But once that piece is stamped, then you're going to have a card that looks like this. Hi, Danielle. If you jumped on and say hello, but that is card number 1. I'll have to stamp that sentiment later because don't forget, when you like and you comment and you share with your shares, you get 2 entries, and with your likes and comments, you get 1 entry because the cards that we're making today are going to be given away. And quite honestly, the ones from last week, I left those at home. So I'll have to do a drawing tomorrow, and I'll post the winners for last week's cards tomorrow. But this is going to be card number 2. We're going to do a little bit of stamping directly on the paper, the designer series paper, and then we're going to do just a little bit of coloring, and everything else is already put together. And I forgot my in color, so I ended up substituting that Rococo Rose with some Melon Mambo, which is pretty close. It's a little on the brighter side, but it'll work. So everything's already put together, or at least cut out, and let's get this going on the inside. And so thank you guys for joining me. I know this is kind of awkward this week, but I wanted to do it rather than be running late tomorrow. And then we're going to mount this piece of Melon Mambo on top of that early espresso. Let's get that on there. Gonna mount that. Let me move that around a little bit. Go. And then this is one of the sheets of designer series paper from In Good Taste, and that's what the other side looks like. It's real pretty. We're gonna stamp on this, and we're gonna use this particular stamp image. And we're going to stamp it directly on in Mossy Meadow. And what I'm going to do is, let me ink that up real good. Make sure I got some good coverage. And then we're going to stamp it once right there. And then I'm going to turn my paper a little bit so that I can stamp on the other side right there. And that's going to be the only part that's going to be stamped directly on that piece. Let me close that up. And then we can actually go ahead and put this piece on to that Melon Mambo piece. So let me get some glue here. Nothing else is going on there. And I am thinking that I didn't even mount that stamp. I think I mounted the pieces. I just didn't mount the sentiment that goes on there. So I'm going to save that piece for later, but I can go ahead and at least put this piece on. So I'm going to put this on with some dimensionals. because I can put that other piece on later with some seal or even some dimensionals to give it just a little bit more dimension. So we're going to stick that right there. And then we're going to color this right here. So I am going to bring back the end of the paper because I don't want any ink to get on her counter. And then we're going to go over it lightly with light melon mambo. I went ahead and stamped it and manually cut out this particular flower. And if you've used our blends before, our Stampin' blends, they come in combo packs. I'm just going to color the, oops, wrong side. There's two sides. There's a side where you can write, and then there's another side that's more of a paintbrush type. I'm just going to color the whole flower, and unfortunately there's no die for this, but that's okay. It's an easy flower to cut out. You just have to remember to stamp it in Memento ink. And these are our alcohol-based markers. So I'm just coloring it, the whole flower, and then I'm going to go back over it in some of the areas with the darker color. And that's kind of where you get your two-tone effect too. And Melon Mambo's pretty. I can go ahead and do the center with Dark Mango Melody. So we'll just go ahead and do that while we have that there. You like those colors, Donna? Yeah, they're pretty. But I forgot, I brought cardstock with me, and I brought everything else except for the end colors. So I was like, oops. And my original thought was to go ahead and cut everything I needed before I got here, or Thursday while I was here, and that didn't happen. And then now I still feel like I'm just so unprepared, but we're gonna wing it and we're gonna do it. And the cards are still gonna be cute, even after I take them home and fill in the missing pieces where I did. So I'm just going over these little darkened areas on the stamp image. I'm just going back over those areas with the darker Melon Mambo color. Kind of like a little shadow shading. And then once I do that, I'll go back over with the lighter version just to help blend in those colors. And it'll make the flower darker and help get rid of some of those lines. So it's not so, those lines aren't so harsh with the blends. That pretty? Woo! You can do these flowers in any shade. And then let's get some, let me get rid of this. And then we'll get some dimensionals. But before we do that, let's get a dimensional on, I want to put one on both sides here. We're going to put a little bit of glue right here. I'm going to try to squeeze so it doesn't come out too much. I don't want too much on there, but I want enough to where I'm going to do some twine. And I'm just going to wrap it around. See if I can get a smaller one here. And let me cut that. And then I'm going to put that piece on there to where that glue is on there. I'm going to put some more glue on there, just on the top, to help make it stick. If I had the seal, well, the snail, I brought another snail with me, but I didn't want to risk something being wrong with that one, so I'll just stick with the glue. But that after that dries, things are going to get real sticky here, y'all. We are going to put that little piece there. I guess it would help if I took those off. I was so focused on the glue, I forgot to take these little adhesive sheets off. There we go. There we go. I'm going to stick that in the middle. Now there's glue on everything. Woo. Okay, so basically that's going to be card number 2. I'll go back later and I'll stamp the sentiment on there, and then we'll just put it on top of this piece of early espresso. But when everything is said and done, this is going to be the second card. The tutorials and everything will have Rococo Rose. I just substituted on this demo with mango, with Melon Mambo. So it's a little bit on the brighter side, but it's still pretty. And if anything, I'll just make sure I give away the original sample on there. So card number 2. And then this is card number 3. We're going to take some tones down to some gray tones, dark gray. We're going to use that strip of paper, that designer series paper that looks like a wall, like a I can't remember what kind of walls they're called, but I can't think of the kind of wall it is. But we're using Very Vanilla, and we are using gray granite. So we can go ahead and get this piece on. Now these cards are the monthly online ordering special. And this card is actually going to open this way. And these cards are actually 4 of the cards. There's another 4 cards in the other room, but these are 4 of the 8 cards that were the make and takes for this weekend's retreat. So let me get that down. And then we're going to mat this piece of designer series paper onto this piece of Very Vanilla. And we're just going to do it directly on there. Y'all, and y'all know how I have to have my Whataburger sweet tea in the mornings, and we sure did make a little 20 to 25 minute journey out back to the main road just to get some breakfast this morning. Some Whataburger breakfast. So I'm in there slurping on my giant sweet tea and thinking about what we're gonna do for dinner. Gonna get some dimensionals on all 4 corners there. The roosters were crowing this morning. I think I shared a video Diane put this morning. The roosters woke her up out here. I didn't hear them. I sleep so hard. I was snoozing. Okay, so then we have that. And then we're going to stamp. I already cut these 2 pieces of gray granite out and Very Vanilla. And we're going to use the Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch in order to punch little banners. So let me unlock that and set that down, and we're going to do our piece of gray one first. And I want to use this design. There's 2 different designs on there, so depending on what end you want, you can punch your design. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do this one the next level down. So between each make sure I get that right. Between each level is a 1/4 of an inch difference. So that makes it perfect for when it comes to matting it, and you have a perfect mat. But I'm going to stamp in basic gray. Hi, Darla. I know it's kind of awkward today. I'm not in my usual element, but we're going to stamp Cherished Friend. I think between this one and that greenery, that's the only one I remember to mount before I came in here. And then let me see if I can get over this and I want to do it closer to the right here. There we go. It's a little crooked. I don't know, I don't like that. That's a little crooked. So I'm gonna flip it over and do the other side. There we go, so much better. And then we're gonna get some glue on the back of that. I'm afraid to squeeze it too much because it may just all come out at the same time. But it seems to be drying a lot quicker. Okay, so let's get this mounted on this piece of gray granite. I'll try to get it centered. And then we're going to put dimensionals on the back of that. My fingers are super sticky right now because I got glue on them. I can't even get that off. There we go. Let's peel that off. And we're going to get this down on the corner right there. And then I used the Forever Flourishing dies, 2 of the dies from there, and I cut one of them out in Very Vanilla and the other one in Basic Gray. So it's a shade, it's the next shade up in the gray, in our neutral line. And I'm just gonna trim the edge off of that. Get some glue dots on the back here. I'm going to end up putting more glue dots down at the top in order to help hold down some of the greenery pieces, but I'm going to slide this right back behind that piece, and then let me trim that off as well and get some glue dots on there. I'll make sure it sticks pretty good, and then we're just going to mount that right on top of that. You could actually put these down first, but I just slid them in behind there. And then let me get a glue dot. Let me get some glue dots down on this piece here, just to help hold that down. There we go. I'm gonna put one right there too. Hope you guys are all enjoying your Sunday afternoons wherever you are. And I will tell you that I've gone ahead and rebooked this place next year with Debbie. I'm going to do another double bow with the linen thread. She's keeping her prices the same, and that means I can keep my setup the same as well. I just got to change the dates. And I have already gone, I did this last year, but I always will give my team the opportunity to RSVP and give me their interest first. And if they don't, then after the end of this month is when I'll open it up for anybody else that wants to join next year's retreat, which will be April the 9th through the 11th. We're going to do every 6 months, these weekend retreats. So if you miss an April date, you can always join us in the fall in October. There we go. I didn't put one on the original one, and you can leave it, you can put one on or you can leave it off. It doesn't matter. That's the original card, and then that's the one that we just made. Cherished friend. And then the 4th one, I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to show you what it is, and it's this one right here. And the only reason I didn't is I want to do this is one of the cards. I don't know if you can see that from that angle, but the designer series paper is embossed. It's the same embossing folder that we used in card 1, the tile. I wanted to give that look to that particular designer series paper. So in this one, you've got not only your embossing, your designer series paper. It does look good, doesn't it? I mean, even with the, if you had, let's just say this designer series paper, this is kind of like a brick wall, it looks like. We even have the brick, I think we still have it in the current line, the brick embossing folder. You could do it on there too, just to help give it some texture. I mean, the picture already looks like it has texture, but actually when you feel it, you can actually feel the raisedness of that. And then right here, this sentiment, the good things in life are better with you, that actually is embossed with our white embossing powder. Originally, when I did it on this dark piece of designer series paper, which this is designer series paper that's part of the pack, I used the Whisper White craft ink, and it just wasn't really popping like I wanted to. So I was like, let's just emboss it. So I don't know if it'll show, if there's a shine to it, but that's actually done with embossing powder. That way it really stands out. And then we have some vellum going on here. It's the same flourishing die. It's just two of them in vellum and then two of them in early espresso. And then this matte is Rococo Rose. And then this designer series paper is matted on a piece of Whisper White. And then you have your twine and your epoxy droplet there in the center. So hope you like the cards. I'm going to see if I can put them down, if you can see them all at this angle. And then we have that one as well. Oops, that's not the one. That one. That's not the one I did for the demo, but that's what the card will be ultimately there in the end. So I'll just pull this back out here. That way, if anybody joined on late, there's the October online host code. You can go back and pause the replay if you want to scan that QR code, but that'll take you straight to my website. And don't forget, when your order is $25 or more, you're going to get a kit in order to make all 4 of these cards. You just have to own the stamp set. Everything will be cut and die cut as much as possible. And then you do your stamping, your sentiments, and your coloring and all that nice stuff. So if you need help with any of the with the supplies, I can post a supply list later this evening. I'll just edit the video to include in the post the supply list, and then I'll also put it on my blog too once I update my blog. So I hope you guys enjoyed the cards this Sunday afternoon. I know it was kind of awkward, but I wanted to go ahead and do this to show you the monthly online ordering special cards. And then once I get back home tomorrow and get settled in, I'll do the drawing for last week's cards. And so let's see if I can get this pointed back. Oops, pointed back. Uh-oh. So thank you guys for joining me. Don't forget, like, comment, share, and if you want to join me in April, we're going to come back here. I would love to have you join me and anybody else. So y'all have a fabulous rest of your Sunday afternoon, and we will see you when I get back. All right, bye-bye, y'all.